Hey guys, and welcome back to the Miss Kenna channel. Welcome to my first Christian talk in 2020. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about not being satisfied with where you are at. And so if you are new, please hit the thumbs up button for this video. Please hit the subscribe button down below, and hopefully you decide to stay. I'm just gonna get started on what we're gonna be talking about today. There are so many biblical scriptures that have been taken out of context that basically makes us Christians think that it is okay to live small, to live limited, to live according to someone's means, to not aspire to dream big, to want more money, to overcome our circumstances and become financially independent. And I really do think it's as a result. Sorry guys. So like I said, I try to find an exclusive place, and every now and then there'll be trucks and stuff passing by. But I feel like it's because of these scriptures that have been taken out of context that makes it so hard for Christians to want to aspire to do great things and aspire to want more. So I'm just gonna say one of these scriptures is when Jesus is talking to someone. I believe this is when he went on his talk in Galilee, and a man basically comes to him and says, "What must I do to become saved?" And basically Jesus ends up telling this man that he needs to sell all of his riches and come and join him. And I just want to say, and of course that man ends up saying that, "Jesus, you want me to sell everything that my father and my father before him have worked for?" And in that part of the Bible, really what God is, or Jesus is trying to say, is that your salvation is depending on you getting away from all these earthly goods, all these earthly treasures, because you, that person whom Jesus is speaking to, are worshiping these treasures and this money, and in that sense you are losing your salvation, because you cannot have two masters. That's what the Bible says. You cannot worship God and you cannot worship money. So that's really what that verse or that part of the Bible is saying. And what I'm trying to say is that there are many scriptures like that have been taken out of context, and it makes it so confusing to as a Christian to want more, because you're like, well, the Bible says this, the Bible says money is the root of all evil, but you're taking that out of context. That's a sentence within that chapter, within that verse. So we ought to be very careful as Christians to realize that God did not say that you should not have extra money or that you should not work hard to want more. And God never said that. If we go back to Genesis, God literally, his first instruction to humankind, to humanity, is not only to be fruitful, and you could take that out of context. To be fruitful can mean to have more, to to have, take what you have and to make it abundantly, or to have abundantly of that. You can take that out of context. But he also says to have dominion. And when God tells you to have dominion, it means to take over, to overrule, to have power. And so you have to take that. Sorry guys, I'm looking around. But you basically have to take that first command and understand that God did not want you to settle in any way. Because if he wanted you to settle, he wouldn't say that you are more than a conqueror. When you have conquered something, just think about all of the kings, all of the emperors of the world who have conquered nations, and just think about that as God says to go out, to be fruitful, to conquer, So God wouldn't have said all that if he just wanted you to live in your small, tiny apartment and go to your 9-to-5 job and, have your, and take the bus every single day. That's not what, God intended to plan for you. And many examples of, God blessing people in the Bible, you can see through many of the kings, Saul, David, Solomon. When God blessed them, he didn't just bless them with wisdom and knowledge. He blessed them with earthly goods. As you have probably read, all you Bible literate people who are watching this, that David is known to have gathered so much gold in order to build God's temple. That his son Solomon literally had to do nothing but go according to the plan that his father had drawn for him, in construction of the temple. Most of these kings had land, had all the things that, back then were considered wealth. Because I think, as we know today, wealth has definitely, that vocabulary word, wealth, has really changed. Back then, wealth, was in having slaves, was having land, was having resources, gold, diamond, timber, spices, throughout history we know this. But as of today, wealth has definitely changed. Wealth has become money, information, technology, so many things that I can't think of right now off the top of my head, but wealth has definitely changed. So on that note, I just want to encourage whoever is watching this to not settle because you believe that having little is associated with being a Christian whatsoever, because it's not. I honestly, personally believe that the lack of money is sometimes the root of all evil. Because whenever you have the resources that you need and I have the resources that I need, there is no jealousy. There is no quarrel. We don't have any arguments. There is no reason why I would be, jealous of my neighbor if I have enough for me and my family, and so does my neighbor. So I just want to encourage you guys to go out into the world and pursue what you want, and if you do not know what you want or what your purpose is, then you need to go ahead and find that purpose. Chase your dreams, as your first grade teacher tells you, but the Christian version is find your purpose. Okay, wherever it is, go and find your purpose. Go where you can serve and have dominion and conquer that, and be what you want to be. There is nothing that you cannot do if you have God. And this is why the Bible also says that with God all things are possible. So if you keep that mentality in your head, you will realize that there is really nothing that you cannot do. When God made me, He made everything. He put everything in you in order for you to be successful, in order for you to be who He wants you to be. And I also believe that the devil has also, the father of all lies, has also deceived us into believing that we do not, that we, don't do this, God will be displeased because you're going to have more money, you're going to have, more this and more that. And that is just what I strongly believe about riches and wealth. God does not need you to give up your riches and wealth unless you worship your wealth, unless your wealth becomes your identity, who you are, And I believe we know a couple of people who money has changed them. I think we all say that, sometimes every now and then you look on TV, right? You see a celebrity who was a normal person like you and I. And you see them today and you're like, wow, money has really changed them, not just on their outward, appearance, but on their insides. What they say, what they do, is completely different. And that is where God asks you to give up those richly things, those things of the earth that is taking your salvation. But if you are able to obtain wealth and riches and keep God as the number one in your heart, in your soul, and in your mind, God will never ask you to give those things up. And I think that's really the true goal. That's definitely my goal, is to be able to be where I want to be, where my dreams, where my purpose is, to fulfill my purpose, to have dominion, to conquer, and to always keep, God in my heart, and to have him as a number one in my life over myself, over my family, over everything. So I hope you guys like this video. And I definitely look forward into having more Christian talks throughout the rest of the year. Who knows? I might even have another one this month. All right, guys. Bye.